Hey y'all, I'm the Canadian Nerd, and welcome to episode 6. This week we're going to finish up our talk about the iPhone 5 after having used it for about a week, in addition to jumping into our very first action figure segment. Should be awesome. Let's do this. So the first thing that really took me by surprise with the iPhone 5 is its weight. And although it wasn't really noticeable when I first picked up the iPhone 5, after having used it for about a week and then picking up my 4S again, it felt like a brick. It felt super heavy, and when I picked up the iPhone 5 again, I really appreciated the lightness and the weight. And although I already mentioned this one last week, the earpods, they still continue to impress me. The sound is full, it's awesome, it's comparable to higher end headphones. I don't want to name any brands, but definitely worth the money if you don't already have those and are looking for a better pair. And if you're looking for a reason to upgrade to the 5, that shouldn't hurt it. Third, I was kind of iffy about this at first, is the placement of the headphone jack. On the iPhone 4 and on the iPhone 4S, the headphone jack is placed on top. Now what this means is that when you have the 4 or 4S in your pocket, the phone is oriented upwards with the ports facing towards the bottom, which actually means that with the 4 and 4S you catch more lint and pocket dust in your ports. So that's effectively why I really appreciate the port being moved to the bottom on the iPhone 5, and that's because now the phone is oriented upside down in my pocket, but all of the ports are facing up, so I'm not getting any lint dust or any pocket dust into my phone's ports. And lastly, the screen on the phone is amazing. The extra real estate just makes everything feel a bit better, a bit more immersive. Yeah, and altogether I'm really enjoying the big screen 4-inch experience. However, in respect to the iPhone 5, there are 2 items that I'm not that keen about. And those are the missing native YouTube app. The native YouTube application used to work flawlessly with my Apple TV, and it's generally where I do most of my television viewing. So to have such a drastic change really changes the way you interact with your Apple TV. For example, now when I want to broadcast something that's playing on YouTube on my phone onto my Apple TV, it's not just a matter of pressing AirPlay. I have to press AirPlay and then I have to turn mirroring on, because until you turn the mirroring on, all you're AirPlaying is the audio. I found that a little weird. It just makes things a little more complicated than they should be and a little more complicated than they already were, so that kind of sucks. Second and lastly for my cons for the iPhone 5 is the Passbook application. I was super excited to use Passbook to amalgamate all my different shoppers, rewards cards and things like that into one place, not have to carry them around. But upon opening it, I think there's only 6 or 7 apps, or 6 or 7 different companies that have made apps that work with Passbook. So I'm sure we'll be seeing a bunch more developed in the near future, but until then it still sucks for all those early adopters who already have their iPhone 5s. So that's it with the iPhone 5. I hope you enjoy your experience with yours if you do end up getting one, and if not, I hope you're enjoying your experience with your phone. But now that we're done with the iPhone 5, let's jump into our first action figure segment. Alright, so for my first action figure segment, I thought we'd take a look at my 2010 8-figure 75 years of superpower collect and connect wave 15 action figure collection. But yeah, as you'll see in a second, the bios are on the back of each box. I'll try and summarize them as we go through each of the 7 characters and 1 variant of Starman. But yeah, let's jump in and check them out. First, there's the Golden Pharaoh. A British archaeologist, Ashley Halberstam, was at a dig in Giza, Egypt, when he was engulfed by a bolt emanating from a laboratory on New Genesis. The bolt transformed Halberstam and conferred upon him the power of the pyramids, as channeled through his magical pyramid staff. OMAC. In the late 21st century, a group of aliens engineered the construction of a powerful satellite called Brother Eye in order to avert a great disaster threatening Earth. The satellite targeted an unsuspecting stockboy named Buddy Blank. he became One Man Army Corps, or OMAC. Gem. Redskin Gem, whose forehead gem prophesies that he would be the planet's savior, found himself exiled during a civil war between the red-skinned and white-skinned Saturnians. He voyaged the Earth and had the misfortune to fall into the hands of criminal mastermind Lex Luthor, who was later defeated by the Justice League. Raven. Raven is the daughter of a female cultist named Morella and the demon Trigon. As a teen, Raven appeared to the Justice League of America to warn them of Trigon's threat, but they ignored her. She turned to the heroes who would become the second incarnation of the Teen Titans, and together they defeated Trigon. Martian Manhunter. John Johns lived with his family on Mars until the mad priest Mal Alefa Ak set off a telepathic plague, leaving John the only survivor. Starman. And this is the same biography for both Starmans. Ted Knight invented the cosmic rod, which collects stellar energy and allows the bearer to fly and manipulate gravity. Taking the name of Starman, he became a member of the Justice League of America. Though the Mist was his greatest foe, Ted suffered most from his own guilt over helping to create the atomic. And now Sinestro Corps Batman. And as I'm sure you're seeing right now, there's a massive Sinestro Corps logo over top of the biography. And as such, I cannot read this one to you. But we all know Batman's biography. If you want to know more about how we joined Sinestro Corps, you can Wikipedia that and find out more there. Okay, so now that you've seen who the different characters in the wave are, let's take a look at one of the characters that's been unboxed. Alright, so as you can see, to the left we've got the in-package DCU 75 Years of Superpower Golden Pharaoh action figure. And to the right we've got the same action figure, but out of box. So let's take a look at them. Here we've got the commemorative button, or collector's button rather, that comes included in the package. He comes with a Superpowers labeled stand as well. And now let's take a look at the action figure. So as you can see, he's pretty well made. Comes with somewhat of an opaque chest and stomach area, somewhat see-through, which I believe is meant to catch light from the back here. So it sort of looks like his chest is glowing. And he also comes with one accessory, which is his pyramid staff. But now let's take a quick look at his different points of articulation. As you can see, got some movement over here in the wrist, just the wrist on its own. After which, the entire arm can rotate, the elbow rotates, as well as the shoulder. His head isn't mounted on a ball joint, so unfortunately he can only turn his head left and right. However, he's got some good articulation in the chest, moves really easily. As you can see, he can rotate as well. He's got movement in his thighs. His legs can move outward. And finally, we've got his ankles, which move as such. Now, most of the characters in this line do have very similar points of articulation. So, looking at the one should be sufficient. In addition to the fact that it's the only one I actually have out of the box, and I'm not really prepared to open any others. Lastly, for those of you unaware, what makes the Collect and Connect toy set so great is that each wave comes with a themed supervillain, and within each character's box comes a piece of that villain. So once you own the entire collection, you can then open each individual character and build the supervillain. Unfortunately, I don't open my characters unless I have doubles, so I actually haven't built the supervillain for my collection. However, let's take a look at the pieces that come included in my collection and a stock photo of Validus, the supervillain for Wave 15, which is my collection. Freaking awesome, isn't he? I think he's about 25% bigger than the other characters, so he really stands out too. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please stick around for episode 7, where we'll do an in-depth look at The Guild, which is a web series, in addition to a comic book series, and we'll also be taking a look at their music videos as well. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like the video so you can check out more in the future. Comment if you have any comments or have any ideas as to what you would like to see in the future. Like the video, and above all, share so other people can experience this too. Peace, à la prochaine, take care, see you next time.